My name's Kellen. I am a local artist in the Minneapolis area, originally from Denver, Colorado. I do a little bit of, mural work, but also just sort of fine art sort of things for clients. I also own a clothing brand that I'm, pretty much running full time. So, artist, clothing brand owner. And yeah, that's what's going on. Everything that I do is sort of, sort of based in just this love for other human beings, trying to, be a positive sort of influence on the world. I've gone down several different routes in my life where I've, tried to make an impact. I, practiced environmental law for a few years, thinking, can that be the place where I make the most impact on the world? Really ended up feeling like sort of the way that a lot of, Black people are feeling right now is that it's tough to focus on other things in the world right now. It's tough to do other jobs right now other than the job of working on social equality and working on the issues at hand. And I felt like I could have more of an impact running a socially conscious clothing brand that's focused on diversity and social equality. More recently, being an artist, doing artwork that has a positive message that sort of brings a spotlight on issues. But everything always comes back to just like being kind, being compassionate, like loving your neighbor, obviously respecting the lives of Black people, like, everything that I do to this point is very much rooted in a social cause, in a positive message, and trying to make the world a better place. So I chose Minneapolis. I guess it started with, I went to college at Carleton College, which is about 45 minutes south of the cities. And that's where I really sort of found myself, but also found my people and my sort of, my ability to like follow my passions were kind of developed at Carleton. So that's always been tied here. I spent a few years in Wisconsin for law school, came back here just because this is where I feel like I could have the biggest impact. Minneapolis is a great city right now for up and coming businesses, up and coming artists. I talk to people about this all the time. There's this weird sort of it's not weird, but very unique culture of artists and entrepreneurs and creative individuals in Minneapolis that nobody really knows about. But if you spend enough time here, you're like, wow, like this city is full of amazing creative people that like could really change the world. And if you really dig in deep, you'll find a marketing company that's working with the biggest brands in the world, or an artist that's doing all sorts of crazy stuff that you really would never hear about. But it makes sense with Minneapolis being like this Fortune 500 hub and all of this. And I honestly do. I love the people of Minneapolis, despite recent issues that have happened here. It's a very diverse place. It's a very welcoming place. There are a lot of, I would say, up and coming diverse creatives, women, people of color. It's a very diverse entrepreneurial culture. So it makes sense for my brand, for my art to sort of have our place here. To be honest, I can't really speak on why the artist culture is so strong here because I'm not from here. But what I can say is it just seems like there are a lot of people interested in the arts here. There's a lot of people open to going to art shows, or the George Floyd mural that was put at 38th in Chicago. Like, people really respected it and like cherished this as like a really like dope piece of art. We have museums around the world like trying to grab pieces of art from the city because like there are so many like local artists that are participating. So I guess it's probably a combination of the participation of the people that live here as well as a little bit of the acceptance from the people that live here and an interest. Like, you have to have that culture that's going to cultivate this artist community. Even the Moxie believing in me, believing in what we've been doing over there to paint murals, do our artist shows. Like, that's just an example of the city sort of investing in art. Every day, my mission is to sort of use art to make a difference, use art to make a positive impact on the world. And I think art has a unique place, just in the world culture. It's one of the oldest forms of cultural expression that exists on this planet. Going back to caveman paintings, like that's, the original forms of art. It's always just held this place. So if people of color, people from underrepresented groups are able to, showcase their abilities, showcase their art, and like use these things to either make a statement, bring attention to an issue, I think it's a super valuable tool. I think it's an effective tool. I don't think you have to be of a certain class or race, gender, anything to enjoy or appreciate art. So I think it sort of like transcends boundaries in that sense. Anybody can do art, which is, also a really valuable thing. I'm not a trained artist. Everything I do, I'm self-taught, just like, have always been interested in art, just decided this was something that I want to do. And that's also nice to be able to show other people, like, anybody can do this, anybody can participate in this, anybody can make a difference, anybody can make a statement with their art, and you don't have to, like, sort of live by anybody else's rules when it comes to whatever you want to make. Originally from Denver, obviously, like I said, came out here for college. So I've been in the Midwest for about 10, 12 years, between Minneapolis and Milwaukee, basically. But I've really just found and I've been a lot of places. I've been around the world. I've lived in San Francisco. I've lived in New York. Like, I've been to enough places to know like what else is out there, and I've found a community that exists not only in the Midwest, but then specifically in Minneapolis that's inviting, that's accepting, that is sort of willing to push things forward, and like that's sort of what has been. What's kind of like made especially with my clothing brand, made us feel at home here is it's been very easy for us to find people that are willing to support a clothing brand that promotes diversity, because they want to promote diversity too. And like, those are Minneapolis local people, and it's a community that supports the arts, it supports food, it supports minority-owned businesses. It's, of course, every city, every community has its flaws. It's not perfect, but I've personally felt like at least there's opportunity here to make a difference. and at least there are people, like-minded people here who also want to make, you know, similar changes in the world that I do, which is, you know, obviously it's kept me here. Like, I am a you know, artist, entrepreneur who could live in, basically I could live anywhere in the world. Like, my job does not tie me to anywhere, but obviously there's a reason why I've stayed in Minneapolis. There's something that's tied me here, and it's the people, it's the community. Obviously it's a beautiful city. I love where we're sitting right now, where we can look out the window and see this beautiful skyline. Like, so yeah, it's there are plenty of things to, you know, love about Minneapolis that have kept me here. If I was talking to somebody that had never been to the Midwest, which was me, you know, coming here, I would say, no matter what you think about the Minnesota nice thing, like, people here are very welcoming. They're, you know, the city is welcoming as far as new businesses or, you know, new ideas. Like, it's a very open place. Like, well, I'll keep saying, like, no place is perfect, but Minneapolis does, it feels like it provides opportunity for you. Like, if you're here, you feel like you can do something. And that's not to, like, say I take anything away from Denver, like, where I came from. I do believe in, like, city fatigue, where you can, like, outgrow a place, and I feel like I probably did that with Denver, but I honestly do feel like Minneapolis is on another level of innovation and even technology, business, art, whatever it is. I think Minneapolis is on the forefront of really pushing the boundaries on all these things, and honestly, we all probably think it's kind of slept on, you know, nationally. A lot of people don't know about what's going on in Minneapolis, but I would say Will and I have had talks about this. In the next 10 years or so, you will see a lot of great things coming out of Minneapolis. Yeah, so Hybrid Nation is the brand. It's my clothing brand. We're a Minneapolis-based streetwear brand that promotes diversity, social equality. Everything that we do is based around pushing forward the narrative, pushing forward the importance of diversity, pushing forward the importance of social equality, whether it's, you know, donating proceeds from clothing sales to organizations working on similar causes to ours, or leading causes by ourselves. Everything that we do is about, you know, sort of creating change and trying to be what brands have not been for the last, you know, 100 years, however many years brands have existed, where brands just exist to make money. We exist solely to make change. Like, we honestly don't make a lot of money right now. We make enough to survive. We make enough money to give back to the community. We give a lot of what we make to the causes that we care about, because that's the sole purpose of why we exist, is to, you know, make the world a better place. The word hybrid specifically stems from a random occurrence of a high school friend of mine, you know, 14 years ago, calling me a hybrid individual, you know, because I'm mixed with white and black. You know, he was like, "Oh, you're a hybrid because you're mixed with these two races." And that was sort of the essence, the basis of where that name came from. And then we kind of rolled with it. You know, we've been through the, like, fighting the green hybrid names and people, like, getting mixed up with it. But I think we're pretty well established now as, you know, Hybrid Nation is a brand that's just here to, you know, make change and make the world a better place. And we will, you know, we'll exist as long as we need to exist to make the change that we're trying to accomplish. Day one, it's sort of been our thing that we're a brand for everybody, because everybody has a little bit of, some sort of mixture in them. I mean, even if you're from the most homogenous place in the world, like at some point in your ethnic background, there was mixing of cultures, mixing of tribes, mixing of something, so like everybody has some sort of mix of diversity in them. And that's kind of the idea behind Hybrid Nation, is that the world is a hybrid nation. We are all a part of this, this very diverse place, and we should all view each other as brothers and sisters and people that we should love and respect. And we want to push this forward. Like, we want to create this world where we can all just be together, and we can love each other, and we can accept each other. We should be promoting diversity. We shouldn't be trying to squash diversity. Like the human potential, like the potential of human beings is our species is based on our diversity. So we should be promoting that. We should be celebrating that. We will only survive and thrive as a species if we can promote diversity, celebrate diversity, embody diversity. And that's what we're trying to do as a clothing brand, is like put a shirt on somebody, start a conversation, wear a hat that says "In Diversity We Trust," and have somebody ask you about it. What does that mean? Why are you wearing a hat that's talking about diversity? Like, start a conversation. Like, it's, we view clothing as a very effective tool for that. And hopefully over time we'll be a part of that, long-term change.